Oh, yeah.
Bless and love, my lord. Welcome to another live interview by Red Lion. I'm joined here today by our co-host Tully and our great guest for today, OX Rodo. How are you doing, gentlemen?
I'm doing fine. Thanks for having me, Red Lion. It's good to finally chat with each other.
Yeah, very nice to connect with you, man. We have chatted quite a few times online, but never an actual voice. So it's really great to actually connect right now.
Yeah, definitely same. To be honest, I haven't been on that many spaces yet, so yeah, it's good to be here. Excited for it.
Is this your first time?
No, it's not.
Okay.
I've been in a space last week as well,
Mm.
and this is actually my second space.
Okay, okay, fantastic. Why don't you go ahead a little bit and talk to us about your punk story so we get to know you, break the ice a little bit, and start this thing.
Yeah, perfect. So, as some of you might know, I claimed a bunch of punks back in 2017. I claimed 10. Um, yeah, so actually, maybe I should start a little bit early because I was involved with crypto since like 2013 when I bought my first Bitcoin.
Oh,
I
four
actually
pennies on the dollar, I guess.
Yeah, it wasn't that expensive, no. But I lost a lot of it later on. But I'll tell you that later. But actually, I knew about Bitcoin when it was first released, when the white paper was released, and I remember actually reading about it and discussing it with a roommate. And I was like, okay, maybe this could be something. But yeah, my roommate, he convinced me to not mine any or to buy any. So I didn't do anything with it for like 4 years until the first bull run. And then I was like, okay, maybe this is interesting. So then I bought my first Bitcoin back in 2013. Yeah, and yeah, I was just like on and off interested in crypto. I wasn't following it that closely as I am right now. Um, I was still like really busy with my normal work life. But yeah, when the bull run came again, I was just like, okay, I'm becoming more interested again and trying to make more money with it again. So
There's
I
something
think
about the fever of the bull run that increases conviction, I guess.
Yeah, it's like you see that there are so many money to be made, and yeah, obviously, you also hear more about it, right? Because there's more info about it on the news, and
Everybody's
people are
talking
more
about it
chatting
wherever
about
you
it.
go. Yeah, everywhere, everywhere. The taxi drivers, you are in a hotel, everybody's talking about it.
Yeah, when taxi drivers start talking about it, it's the top signal, and you have to exit the market. But yeah, it's definitely true. Like in when the bull run starts again, there's more interest and more people start talking about it anymore. Again, sorry, I have to say. So yeah, in 2017, I was quite active with the ICOs. Of course, like that was the bull run of the ICOs, and I invested quite some Bitcoin in ICOs. And to be honest, I wasn't such a good trader back at the time, so I lost quite a few of them. But yeah, one of the more interesting projects I also came across was CryptoPunks. I read about it on Mashable. They wrote an article. I think you can still visit the article if you go to
Yeah,
CryptoPunks.app.
this article, I don't know, it made the whole thing relevant. Like so many CryptoPunk owners were inspired by this article. It's insane how big of a catalyst it was.
Yeah, yeah, it was actually. I did an analysis on it, and you could actually see like after the article went online, like the number of punks that were claimed, it increased dramatically. Like before that, I think it was like maybe only maybe 50 a day, and after that, like it went totally ham, and it was minted out in 2 days. But yeah, anyway, that article was also for me the introduction to CryptoPunks. And I remembered when I read the article, I sort of had the same feeling when I first read about Bitcoin. I felt like, okay, this is going to be revolutionary. Like the NFT didn't exist back then. The term didn't exist, but like the whole concept, it didn't exist. So was something which was like really new. And that's also why I wrote a tweet like, okay, this is a really fun execution of Ethereum contracts, because before that it was all tokens, right? It was really boring in that sense, and this was something totally different. And you could already like imagine that this could have like this huge market.
But were you
And
involved in any kind of art or just into the crypto markets?
no, I was just into the crypto market, so I wasn't involved with any art like in the real world, so to say,
That's
or the
amazing,
crypto
man.
scene.
I find it so amazing because crypto art and Ethereum, even as like a money network, like sparked curiosity and interest for so many people to be involved in arts and eventually become really, really big collectors or have a great thesis about art and digital art when they were irrelevant before that. And irrelevant, I mean, to the art world. And this is something amazing. It brought so many people into the arts, and myself included. Well, I always loved arts and I have been around them, but I wasn't as involved as I am right now. So um, it's
Yeah,
something incredible, I think.
yeah, definitely. I think like a lot of people that collect gen art currently, they don't like they haven't collected like art offline. It's like a totally new market. And I think for most people it's really it clicks, right? Because we're spending so much time online, and we are like doing so much stuff on chain. It makes sense that you would collect art online, and that's their like first introduction to art. So yeah, it feels like a natural evolvement. Like in the future, I believe that the online art market will be way bigger than the traditional market. Uh, yeah, because for a certain number of factors. But yeah, I feel like this is just the start of a transition, and like the people that are growing up currently, like for them, it's normal to be online all day.
Exactly.
For
They don't know a world where crypto was not there. It has always
yeah,
been there for them. And this
yeah,
is
but
the new people of tomorrow will have all this technology for granted when we are still debating if it's good to use it or not.
yeah, definitely. But it's not only crypto, right? It's also
Mm.
just being connected to the internet. Like when I grew up, we didn't have internet. I still
Do you
remember the
see it
time.
among your peers that you find some of your peers are outdated, as in terms of like they have absolutely no grasp of what's happening online?
Well, they do have a grasp, but they're not necessarily that interested in it. Like some friends of mine, they ridicule it, like they make fun of it, and that's totally fine. But like they don't have the same conviction as I have, and they are more like, yes, this, maybe not busy with new technologies. And of course, like when the bull market is and there's a lot of money to be made, then they find it interesting. But for example, like a close friend of mine, he always says like, okay, I rather invest in stone, like in houses or stores or whatever, then I buy something online, like I buy an NFT or a coin or whatever, because he's just not that familiar with it. Like he doesn't know the product, and And to be honest, I think that's like a great way to approach it, because like you should only invest in stuff you really understand. And um, for me, for example, I don't invest in the stock market because that would take like a lot of time for me to research it, the companies, and what would be the best way to buy them and to monitor them. And yeah, I just rather spend my time with crypto.
I'm very interested in that, so I will poke a little bit deeper because I connect there with you. You are an early adopter, and you love technology, right? What do you find
Yeah.
different between yourself and your peers that drives you towards these places that they don't see? As you said, they'd rather do real estate or other things. Because I find this among my friends and my peers also, and I find it weird from my perspective.
Yeah, I think it really depends on like where your personal interest lies. Like I've always been interested in new technologies. Like for example, when Facebook came to the Netherlands, I was one of the earlier users, and also before that we had another social medium here, and I was also one of the first users there. And before that, I was an early user of ICQ, if you still remember that. So yeah, it's it always had my interest to try new things and new technologies and stay up to date with it. Yeah, and I think that's just like a personality trait. And some people, they are just like more laggards, and they will research new technology when they have to, or like when everybody is using it. It just depends on your personality, I guess.
It's a personality trait, you reckon?
Yeah, I think so.
Mm. Going back to the punks, you said you claimed 10. How did you choose them? What happened to them? And did you buy any more punks after that?
Well, I should have claimed more, to be honest, but yeah, that's with the current knowledge. Yeah, so it was really fun because the way you could claim them, Larva Labs made this website where all the punks were already available. So it didn't happen like the minting happens nowadays. So you didn't like just push a button and then you got a punk back, but rather you had this huge grid with all the punks on it, and you could actually see like what punk you were going to claim. So yeah, I decided to, because it were punks, I decided to go for ones that were maybe a little bit weird or different, or currently we would say like we love punks that are
You were
clean.
you were feeling the pressure while you were clicking, right? You had to choose fast and you had no clue. For those who don't know how it was just a giant image, and there were all the punks right next to each other, no filters. You had to manually click and check this is the one you want, and you claim it. There was no way to filter them, as far as I know, and
No, no,
there was no documentation regarding the rarity or whatever. It
no.
was just there, right?
Yeah, yeah, it was just all new, and like something like this, it was never been there before.
Also,
So
no
yeah,
MetaMask.
no, no, you had to choose the image that you wanted, then that punk image that had a number, then you went to the contract, and you find the contract function where you could fill in the punk number, and then you could mint it. And I remember like this was the first time for me to like mint from a contract, and yeah, so it also had like a little bit of a learning curve for me. So I'm rather happy that I like learned that skill. Obviously, like it isn't that difficult, but it's something you have to explore and see how it works. But yeah, I decided to claim 10 punks, just sort of random. I was just going through the image and yeah, choosing the ones that I felt like, okay, these ones are rather punky, or weird, or somewhat different. And after 10, I just decided to stop, because I was thinking to myself, okay, I want to leave some for others as well. In hindsight, that turned out to be really naive. because there were some huge whales in the beginning who
Like
claimed a
Hemba
lot of
claimed
punks.
1,000, I think, right?
Yeah. You have Hemba, Wilcox, Mr. 703, said like they all claimed like hundreds and hundreds of punks. They probably together with Larva Labs, they owned over 50% of the supply. And actually, a while back, I did an analysis, and there are about 260 wallets that claimed in total on a 10K collection. So,
Manual botting, basically.
yeah, exactly, manual modding. And then like it turned out that the number of claimers actually is way less than the 260 accounts, because there are quite some claimers who had multiple accounts and claimed more with more wallets. So yeah, I don't have like the analysis finished on that. I'm actually looking into it because I find it really interesting. But yeah, recently I heard a number and I can't confirm it. But recently someone said like that there are maybe only like 90 claimers.
Oh, wow. Well, so we've come a long way since then. Hey, Augusti, I see your request. We will take questions a little bit later. So if you want to request again back when later on, I will pass on the mic. Okay, all right. So that is a very, very interesting punk journey that you had. But what happened since then? How did NFTs change your life? Since 2017, you claimed your punks, and after that, I guess you were um, part of the NFT culture forever, and you immediately got obsessed. Is that the case?
Yeah, well, not really, to be honest, because like after that, the crypto kitties hype was, and
Oh yeah, everybody was talking about kitties.
yeah, and I actually like I did buy some kitties as well, and I think I also like breed a couple, but I didn't find it that interesting. And yeah, it of course, like the whole concept, it wasn't that successful in the end. But yeah, it was a fun way to experiment with the blockchain technology. But more importantly, like after that, the bear market began, and yeah, it's like in the bear market, like only people that are actually like building stuff in the space, they in general they tend to stay. So yeah, I still had a full-time job, and I just went back to my day job and didn't pay that much attention to the whole crypto market anymore, which probably also is the reason why I still have my punks. Like I knew that they were traded in the beginning, but I was thinking like, okay, it doesn't make sense to sell a punk for maybe $50 or $100 or $200, right? It like in the end, it isn't that much money. So I would rather just keep them and see what would happen with them on a more longer term. So yeah, I didn't do anything with them. I just like I knew I had them in my wallet, but I didn't pay attention to the market anymore. And yeah, in hindsight, yeah I wish I had spent more time with the community back then, because yeah, I think it was like a really interesting time. And yeah, if you scroll back in Discord and you see what kind of deals people had for punks, like it's insane. Like in the early days, you could buy a punk for maybe like half an Ethereum.
Yeah, even when I
And
came into the space in the punks chat, we were talking about accounts that claimed and never came into the punks chat, and we could see the wallet. So it was interesting. I guess you were one of those mysterious people, right?
yeah, definitely. I wasn't in. I think I was in Discord, but I never actually spoke until years later. But yeah, it would have been fun to like really collect certain sets, like based on certain traits or colors. And like Plutonium, he did a Twitter thread on it recently, and yeah, it it's such an interesting way actually to pick a collection and to choose these really cheap punks and put them together,
Yeah,
and
and
that's
they look
something
so
I
good, right?
yeah, they look amazing.
Mm.
So yeah, that's something I wish I did, but yeah, I didn't. I still had my 10 punks, and I just went back to my day-to-day job. And yeah, I started getting interested in crypto again in 2020. Um, yeah, and basically I've been involved with it, yeah, nonstop ever since. With the bull market of 2021, I quit my full time job and I went full time into crypto.
Oh, nice. Like Dudley did the same. And you also founded MetaMate Labs, and I find it a very unique project. Why don't you go ahead and describe to us what it is and what you do on that project?
Yeah, sure. So in short, MetaMate Labs is a new generation fashion brand. We are basically using blockchain technology to create personalized premium apparel. These items, they range from iconic hoodies to crew necks and t-shirts. That's what we'll offer at launch. But later on, we will also add other items, for example, beanies.
But is it
And
business facing or is it consumer facing? So is it for projects or for people?
Both, actually, both. Like the website is consumer facing. So the core collection will consist of a premium embroidered apparel item. So, for example, if you own a punk, you can order an item with your punk on it. So all the items will be 100% personalized, and that's a really unique concept, not only within crypto but also within fashion, because fashion is all about like making as much items as possible, which are all the same, and we are just like doing it a little bit differently, and we're only producing personalized items. So that's the consumer part. The business part, we're also working together with DAOs and other projects to actually supply their merch. Like we are not a merch company, but we can deliver a high quality premium products for projects and DAOs.
Hmm. Okay, so this is what I was mostly interested about because we definitely need some swag. And I watched your stitching machine, and I imagined Dudley's design with this quality production that you make for fashion. It's probably fashion 3.0. And
Yeah, and I have to say, like, we've been involved with the company for quite some time, and it's really hard to find the right quality. And I'm really happy to be able to say that we have the right suppliers right now, and have the right connections at the right manufacturers, because, like, there's embroidery and there's embroidery, if you know what I mean.
oh yeah,
Like
100%.
if like you could go to the local copy shop and say, okay, I want this item, this merch item with an punk on it, but like the quality you would get, it would be terrible.
Yeah, yeah.
It wouldn't look like a punk. And we've been testing for the last couple of months, and really improving like the embroidery that we're using, and finally I'm really confident that we can say, like, the quality that we will deliver will really be supreme. It's going to be top notch. And
Mm.
the manufacturers that we're working together with, they are the same manufacturers who are also working with like the top brands such as Armani. So yeah, we've been really really able to find the right ones who can deliver the quality that we're aiming for.
Yeah, I can totally understand that angle because it's also something we do with Red Lion Studios, and we are bringing out magazines with different covers. They are all generated and on chain, and stuff like that. And the next step, of course, as we are doing with the punk book, with custom made covers for each one. And as you said, embroidery, we put so much work um, on research for materials and embroidered. And I guess you answered my next question, which was you said it was about the research for the materials and prototypes and all those different things you have to use to make the recipe, right? So yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of research. Like
Mm.
we hired a fashion designer actually to make the items, to design the items. Um, so because like that's a different job, right? That's not something you could do yourself. You have to have that knowledge. So we try to work together with the best people, so that we know we can deliver the most premium kind of product. And like the company, it all started from our own frustration with the merch that we were getting. Like I've ordered merch from multiple projects, and like every time that a project announced, okay, well, we are going to have merch and you can buy it, and then you're okay, fine, and this looks amazing, I'm going to buy it, and when you get it, you're disappointed
It's
because it's
always
just
like
not.
that. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, it's not the quality that you expected in the beginning, and yeah, we just wanted to change that. And also, like, all the items are basically black and a hoodie, maybe a black t-shirt, and that's about it. Like that's 90% of the choice you have. So we also want to make it possible for people to have a little bit more choice, to have a little bit more color, and that's also something that we will be supporting.
How do you see the fashion market evolving with NFTs? What are some use cases that, since you are into that area, you have the foresight to s- to to guess that is going to happen? Can you educate us about that?
Yeah, so basically, you have to ask yourself, like, what kind of role can blockchain technology play in the fashion market? And like, I think it makes really sense for the more premium items, like the luxury fashion market, to be involved with this. Um, uh, like like to start with it, they will start experimenting with it, and obviously, like, that's also something we've seen already. Yeah, it makes really sense. Like, if you're going to do a limited edition drop, like, let's say Nike is going to do a limited edition drop, then it makes really sense that you can also track that it's limited edition, right? You don't have to rely on the work from the producer anymore, but you can really, like, see the whole supply chain, and where it was produced and how many items were made. And like, that's also the interesting thing with NFTs, and something that we are going to do. Like, if you order an item from MetaMate Labs, you can see how many times a certain NFT is used to produce an item, so you can actually see how rare it is. And that's a use case that will be used a lot in the future. So it would be really interesting to see, like, how unique an item is, and that's definitely something that the big brands will be using.
In general, would you say we are going from an era of uncountable items to countable items? Like brands are more and more putting out editioned items and collections, and we see the general trend moving towards some form of like, you know, collections, numbers, not just okay, this is the product and we don't know how many they exist.
Yeah, I think both will exist in the end, because, like, your target group, your target audience is just different. Like, if you're talking about limited editions, you're really targeting, like, maybe collectors or people that are really into your brand. But there will also always be people that are, they just want to buy something and they don't really care about that it's a limited edition item. So both will exist in the end. But I find it really interesting that like the whole fashion market, obviously, like there's so much waste in it, and like there has been a trend that companies tend to go to more sustainable routes, and I think this fits perfectly with that direction. Like we don't have to overproduce, right? It's a decision. So if you could also say like, okay, only going to produce an item when it's ordered, and we've seen initiatives in the market from new companies who are already doing that. So it's not anymore from okay, we're just going
How
to
can
mass
that
produce.
scale? How can that scale though?
So there's one company who has made an algorithm, and basically they were saying, okay, you have to fill in a couple of variables like your length, your weight, and some others. And based on the algorithm they made, they are confident to say, okay, this item will fit you, and obviously like they are constantly monitoring it and fine tuning it. But yeah, it's basically maybe a different use of AI to create like the really correct sizes that are personal for you.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
So the clothes can be completely custom made, and but what I meant is like how the production cost will scale up. How can we still pay 30, $50 for a hoodie and and be at that quality if they are not mass produced?
Yeah. So the short answer is you can't. It's more expensive. And that's like a decision everybody has to make. Like, what are you willing to pay for your fashion? Um, and you also have to be aware, like, okay, if I'm not willing to pay like more than 30, 40, $50 for an item, then what is the impact? Like, where is it produced? Who made it? What is the impact on the environment? And I think like a lot of customers are more aware of it these days, and they are really making conscious choices. Like, okay, I want to wear something that I feel comfortable with, and I rather pay a little bit extra um, than just like buying the cheapest item and throwing it away maybe after I've used it for 2 months.
After NFTs exploded in popularity, we saw several luxury brands like Dolce Gabbana, Prada, Gucci, and others launch their own NFT projects. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's a bit of a hard question for me because I to be honest, I haven't been following it really up closely. Um, so yeah, it's rather hard for me to comment on that.
I see, I see. But as far as I know, they were not completely oriented to manufacturing clothes, and I don't know, some of them maybe had physical, but mostly they didn't.
Yeah, I think like the most of the companies who entered the market entered in like 2021, and they just saw it as a way to make quick money,
Yeah.
and weren't necessarily like really like they had a different ethos. Like they aren't crypto native, and that's why I think like there will be some huge fashion brands that are crypto native and that will really make it. And of course, Artifact is a great example of it. 90cc is also a great example, but yeah, I'm 100% confident that there will be more.
What is your favorite style of dressing, and how do you dress? What fashion do you follow?
Yeah, I must say, like it has changed a little bit since COVID. Like before that, I always went to the office. So yeah, I didn't wear a suit. Yeah, it's not that common anymore. Um, but yeah, I always used wore a shirt, for example. But yeah, it's I like to not maybe follow the most recent trends, but like I enjoy clothes that look nice and that look good.
Good materials, good
Ex-
textures, stuff that feels good.
exactly.
Mm.
And I've always worn clothes that are that are just nice. Like it's good materials, it looks good, and in that sense, like it's maybe a little bit like classic traditional style. Um, yeah, so that's important for me. And like I like really like the iconic brands. For example, if you think about like a polo shirt, you think about Lacoste because it's so iconic. And that's something I try to recreate also with MetaMate Labs.
I think they invented it, you know.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But they invented the material of the polo shirt, and that's why they are so iconic. They were the first to do it, and I guess Ralph Lauren shirt after that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But like everybody knows these items, and
Mm.
it's like it's so iconic.
I recently bought myself Timberland boots, and I'm so happy. I went like for the classic ones, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
But these sort of items that they become so popular, they are entangled with the name of the brand, right?
yeah. And that's really interesting because like indeed you have it with Timberland with the shoes, and of course with the polo, but also Levi's with the jeans, and
Yes.
yeah, that's so interesting to see like that a company becomes so popular for one item.
But this is also what we want as consumers. When you're looking for something, you're like, I want it really nice and simple, but from good materials. And then you look at the Levi's or the Timberland, and it's exactly what you wanted, and you're like, yeah,
Yeah,
the
I'll buy
classic.
it.
Yeah. When I'm looking in your wallet, I'm looking at an incredible collection, and you have been collecting besides punks. So, what is your thesis? What do you love to collect? How do you see your collection growing?
Yeah, so it's my thesis is like I buy stuff that I like, but also things that I think will give a return. And like in general, the adoption rate of crypto NFTs is and gen art or art in crypto art in general is like we're still at the early phases. So if you look at the market cap of it, then yeah, it's pretty likely that it's going to explode in the couple years in the next decade. That there will be more interest, more money flowing into the space, and basically like that if you make an investment, that it will become worth more uh, in general, so to speak. Of course, like there are also a lot of projects that will go to zero. So I try to buy stuff that, yeah, in general, people say, okay, the blue chips, they call it blue chips. So if you look in my wallet, I have quite some art blocks pieces. Uh,
I'm looking at the gazers you have now, and I'm so jealous.
yeah, that's yeah. I'm really happy with that one. Like this
Mm.
is then you're not looking at my vault because I have more stuff there as well. But yeah, the gazer is one example of art I really enjoy, and I'm really thinking of actually buying a display so I can enjoy it daily because like the gazer is
Mm.
dynamic and it evolves like constantly. So to really enjoy it, you also have to view it constantly. So
What you are doing with MetaMate Labs, we are creating a sort of similar service aimed at artists and collectors to be able to create their own physicals from their NFTs, but verifiably with a nice mechanic. So I hope in the future we will be able to provide that, so you can like come here with your NFT and pop it in there and get a really nice physical. That would be so great for collectors and artists. I think it has good implementation.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think I will follow your call here with Mind the Gap. I will buy one after this.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Yeah. I've been involved with GMDAO from the beginning because I, like, before Cypher started GMDAO, I knew him already from another project. So I've been in the
What is GMDAO? Can you educate
yeah.
us?
So GMDAO is like basically a community of a really diverse set of people. Like, if I were to say like what kind of people are in a DAO, then it's a mix of deacons, of art lovers, of builders, of collectors, and basically like how it started. It were all people that kind of knew like the founder, and the founder, he was also really interested in art, so you can see that like coming back into that community. And one of the first products from the DAO is Gym Studio, the generative art platform, where Mind the Gap also was launched on. Um, so yeah, I would say like there's a huge interest in Gen Art in that community, and yeah, I found it really was fun to be there, and like the people there are really helpful and kind. It's a really nice community, so to say. And yeah, Mind the Gap is their first was their first launch of the studio, and for me that's the one that I like best. There are a couple of others I like as well. Factura is another example. Um, but yeah, one of the perks of the DAO is that you get whitelisted for the new drops. If the drop size is big enough. If the drop size isn't big enough, then it will be a raffle. But yeah, fortunately, I got like 2 DAO tokens. So yeah, it's a I've got a fair decent chance that I will be able to mint like the upcoming drops.
Okay, that's really nice. Interesting mechanic.
Yeah.
I would say. Agusti, if you want to raise your hand or if anyone has any question, please guys raise your hands. Now's the time. I'll pass on the mic. But yeah, I really enjoyed the Mind the Gap. I saw your tweets about it. I see it now inside your wallet. So yeah, I think I will be. Yesterday I said I will list some NFTs to sell. I did some bad listing. I only 20 minutes, and since then I bought more.
Yeah, and yeah, but that's the problem with Ethereum, right? Because it's so easy to buy stuff that you're like constantly running out of ETH.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But I constantly find stuff now on Twitter or on OpenSea from friends that are super interesting, and really legit projects that are launching or some funny ones. And yeah, I think we are transitioning from total garbage that was a few months ago to a few better projects that are actually building something and not just make noise.
Yeah, and I think like the people that are currently active in the space, they're in it for the long run. Like they aren't in it to make a quick buck. They want to contribute something to the space and actually build something that will last for a long time. And that's also why I started a company, because I also want to contribute something to the space and build something that will exist for a long time. Like like there have been a lot of people who just like launch something and then rock because like it's so easy, and in a bull market nobody cares, so to speak. But now, yeah, it's really about, and this is also why I actually really enjoy being in the bear market, because it's more about community. Like the community is smaller, so you also get to know people better, and yeah, it's a really good way to connect and meet new people and to build relationships. And I think that's one of the great things from a bear market.
Yeah, when we were still in 2020s, and I don't know, the market was dead then. It wasn't bear or bull for NFTs. It was always the same. Nobody cared. It was very easy to make friends and talk with everybody. And I noticed during the bull markets, it was so incredibly hard. Everything was just who shouts the loudest. I found that very, very hard.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is nice to make friends during the bear markets and see who is still here after a bull market ends, and the people who are still here and they are living and breathing NFTs. It's the people who create the value. It's the people who create the community.
Yeah, so the people who are here now, they will be the OGs from the future.
Yes.
Okay.
What do you think about the term OG? You agree with it?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's just a term, right? For me,
Hmm.
it's like people can look up to like OGs because they have been involved longer with the space, but like it doesn't necessarily mean you can add something to the space. So yeah, it's
What would be some sort of like experience that you had in all this time that you can share, yeah, that you can share, or some advice from your own experience that people will find really helpful?
that's a hard question. Use a hardware wallet. um, yeah,
Invest in security, I
yeah.
guess.
Well, that's like I would say that's a no-brainer. But like, yeah, last week we've seen it's not necessarily a no-brainer. But yeah, it's maybe it comes all down to what we've talked about before, like really connect with people and contribute something to the space, and not necessarily like just take something. Because it's so rewarding on multiple levels. Like people are mainly in crypto for money, obviously, and that's totally fine. But like next to that, like you can, there's so much more to win. Um, so yeah, if my advice would be just like find a community you're passionate about, and be active in it, and have fun. Like and stick around long enough, have a conviction, and in the end you will be rewarded.
Yes, 100% agree with that. Uh, and it's all about being interested in what you do, right? You can't just be here for the money. I guess that would be super boring if you're here for the money and you look all of these images all day, all fucking day long.
Yeah.
I guess it would be nerve-wracking if you hate it, you know?
Yeah, well, if like I can't imagine that if you hate it, then that you spend like 24 hours a day in it. Like it's crazy. Like you, like life is too short to just do stupid stuff, and yeah, do stuff you enjoy.
Yes, exactly.
And
Dudley, you want to jump in here? You have something to ask?
Yeah, hey guys. Hey Roro, nice to meet you. I wasn't able to say hi, I rocked at the beginning, but as I was browsing your feed, I found that something is cooking. Maybe you can give us a little alpha that you're working on some Gen R collection for your project MetaMate Lab. So can you give us a little bit more detail? What is it?
I can't tell too much yet. Uh, because like it's not like not everything is set in stone yet and 100% confirmed. So I can't talk about the details. What I can talk about is that like I wanna do something like what we talked before is like do stuff that you enjoy doing and what you're passionate about. I'm passionate about gen art and art in general. So that's something that I also want to bring to MetaMate Labs. And instead of having like boring NFTs, like we've seen membership cards that are 3D animated and twisting, and like everybody does it, right? And that's so I find it really boring, and I want to do something different. So I want to connect like MetaMate Labs with Gen Art or art, and we are now talking to a couple of artists to see what we can pull off. So I can't talk any more specifics, but that's a plan. Like, yeah, also connect Gen Art and art with fashion, and that's something we are investigating right now.
That's very interesting. So we will be able to print our mints
Maybe,
on
yeah.
our clothes. That's gonna be so cool. But how? I guess my last question would be: I'm very interested in that. How we as a project can contact you to create merch or swag designed by us.
Yeah, so basically, my DMs are open on Twitter. So if you want to reach out, oh no, while I'm saying that, I'm thinking, okay, no, my DMs are not open because yeah, you have to. I have to follow you.
But maybe you don't want to put yourself in that position. Maybe something more
but
streamlined, I
yeah,
guess.
but what I can do is like I can put open the DMs for MetaMate Labs. So if you're interested in it, then just DM MetaMate Labs, and yeah, I'll get back to you ASAP.
Yeah, for sure, we will do that. And that's very interesting, man. Well, I think that's it for today. I don't see anybody raising their hands. I don't know if anybody wants to ask any question. If not, we're just gonna close it here. But I also want to invite you again back on the show in the future when you are doing your new drop, or before you do your new drop, or when you are launching some new service with the labs. Would love to have you back on the show and check with you how are you doing then, and what are you focusing on at the time.
Yeah, sounds good, man. Would love to come back in the future. Maybe as a final closing note, I'm gonna do like an open edition min today. I will launch it later today. I will announce it on Twitter, and it will be open for 24 hours. So it might be interesting to eye that, and yeah, it may or it may not have future utility.
Okay, that's very interesting. Okay, so everybody follow Rodo, and yeah, keep your eyes peeled for the next 24 hours for the open mint. Fantastic. This has been great, man. Thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks for having me. I enjoyed it, and yeah, look forward to be back on the spaces. Yeah, soon.
For sure. Thanks everyone for listening. Thank you, Dudley, for adding all the support on the background. And
Thanks.
you will see us again. I think we have another
No,
interview lined up for tomorrow. But
no. No matter.
hello, Dudley.
Yeah, I just pinned. We have Push and P, our exhibition with Silavri tonight.
Oh yeah, we have it tonight, not
I
tomorrow.
pinned.
Yeah, he's in New Zealand, so we have to do it tonight.
Yeah,
It's tomorrow for him.
he's
So
exactly
yeah, yeah.
that we are. So
So yeah, we will be posting up the link right now. Please join that. It's really, really interesting what we are doing with the art drops and the curated collection. And these 7 weeks are all about Pepe art. So don't miss it. It's really, really cool. So yeah, thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day. Bye bye.
Thank
bye
you.
bye. Cheers,
Bye
guys.
bye.